Random House Audio presents Babylon Rising by Tim LaHaye and Greg Dinallo. Read for you by Kevin O'Rourke.
Hello, I'm Tim LaHaye. Welcome to my new prophetic fiction series, Babylon Rising. I hope you'll come to share my tremendous enthusiasm about this first novel. Whether you're one of the millions of readers who have read or listened to the Left Behind series, or whether this is your first exposure to my fiction stories uniquely based on Bible prophecy. I'm more excited about this new series than anything I've ever done in my life. My prayer is that it will have the same effect on the lives of both readers and listeners as has the Left Behind books and audio tapes. The fantastic popularity of the Left Behind series, 54 million in print and growing, convinces me that fiction is a powerful way to share with others some of what I find so endlessly fascinating about end times prophecy. Happily, readers have been stimulated in their faith by the combination of great adventures and important revelations. Babylon Rising is my newest attempt to create another uniquely satisfying combination of suspense and substance. I base this exciting story on the number one most important prophecy in the Bible regarding international events, one that is having an incredible impact on our society today, Daniel chapter 2. You'll find Babylon Rising not only a fascinating story, but it will help you understand that end times prophecy could be fulfilled in our very lifetime, and hopefully it will help you make sense of the signs of the times that are being fulfilled internationally almost every time we read our daily newspaper. Even though this book is based on prophecy, as was Left Behind, I believe Babylon Rising provides a revealing and rewarding listening experience that will be fresh and exciting for you. The setting for Left Behind, as you probably know, starts with the rapture of the church and then takes the world through the tribulation period, the millennial kingdom, and on into heaven. Babylon Rising starts right now and covers the time from today up to the rapture, one of the most exciting times in the history of the world. Bible prophecies and their interpretation are clear signs of what our present and future hold for this world and is a continuing basis for all of our writing. In the Babylon Rising series, you will find some truly fascinating and important material based on my continuing research on the prophecies of the Bible. My hope is that you will find Babylon Rising is a story which manages to both totally involve you and yet is relevant to our times. To really make this a grabber of a novel, you will find Babylon Rising set in today's world with a hero who faces many of the challenges of our day, many of them that are familiar to all of us. That hero, Michael Murphy, is one of the real appeals of this series to me. I like Dr. Murphy so much I named him after my son-in-law. There are many wonders in our world, but many dangers as well. And I wanted to center this series on a hero who I think is very engaging, yet very real, and someone who is up to the task of confronting a rising tide of danger throughout the whole series. Murphy is a scholar in both archaeology and biblical prophecy, and because of his personality, is by far the most popular teacher on campus. But unlike other scholars, he's also a complete adventurer and a risk-taker. When he's on the trail of ancient artifacts, he will go to any extreme to authenticate the truth of the Bible. Murphy is a man of action and a man of faith, a true hero for our times, which is a good thing because, as you will see, right from the start of this series, Murphy will begin to confront a profound evil. An evil force which he will soon discover has ensnared him in a countdown to what the Bible calls the time of the end. I thank you for your interest in my effort to make biblical prophecy interesting, exciting, and always relevant for today's world. Now I give you Babylon Rising. With a prayer, you will find it a great listening experience.
Exactly 33 hours and 47 minutes after he had last been in church, Michael Murphy was hurtling through a terrible dark abyss. Prayer had never seemed more necessary to him than at that moment. In pitch blackness, with the only sound the whoosh of his body falling through the air, Murphy had no idea where he was heading. Except down, quickly, all 6 feet 3 inches of him. Just a moment ago, Murphy had been standing on the rooftop of what appeared to be an abandoned warehouse on a desolate street in Raleigh, North Carolina. It was an unusual place for him to be on a Monday night during the university semester, when he normally would be preparing for his next day's lecture. Yet it took only one word to make him drop all normal activities and race to this dank and deserted height. Granted, that word was in Aramaic, one of the many ancient languages Michael Murphy could read with some fluency. The Aramaic letters had been penned with elaborate style in a bright blue ink that had seeped deeply into a thick, expensive, ivory-tinted paper stock that had been wrapped with great care and tied up by a translucent ribbon around a heavy stone. A stone that came crashing through the lower window of Murphy's campus office late that afternoon. Whoever threw the stone into his office had disappeared by the time Murphy got to the window. As he unwrapped the paper and translated the single word that appeared there, he first stared, then began to count. 30 seconds until his office phone rang. He knew what voice he would hear at the other end of the line, although he had never seen the face to go with that voice. "Hello, Methuselah, you old scoundrel," he said. There was a high, cackling laugh in answer, a sound Murphy would recognize anywhere. "Oh, Murphy, you never disappoint me. I take it I've piqued your interest." "And cost me a replacement window." Murphy looked down again at the single word on the paper. "Is this for real?" "Murphy, have I ever let you down?" "Nope. You've tried your weird best to kill me several times, but let me down, never. When and where?" The old man snorted. "Tonight, 9:17. Be on the roof of the warehouse at 83 Cutter Place in Raleigh. And take my advice, Murphy boy, if you do come, and I know you will, make the most of these last few hours." With another cackle, the line went dead. Murphy shook his head, put down the receiver, and picked up the paper. For a man like Michael Murphy, a scholar who could not confine himself to library stacks of dusty, ancient tomes, an archaeologist dedicated to hunting and rescuing artifacts that could authenticate events from the pages of the Bible, this was the name of the prophet who was guaranteed to intrigue him more than any other: Daniel. For the rest of the day, Murphy could think of little else besides speculating about his nighttime rendezvous with Methuselah. It had been approximately 2 years since Murphy had first been contacted by this eccentric figure. Each time, without warning and without ever showing his face, Methuselah would get a message to Murphy, always a single word in an ancient language that would turn out to be the name of one of the books of the Bible. This would be followed within a minute by cryptic directions, always to some deserted location, where Methuselah would watch from a secure hiding place and taunt him, while Murphy would try to survive some very real, very deadly physical challenge. Despite 2 broken ribs, a fractured wrist, and too many scars to recall, Murphy had so far somehow managed to muster all of his considerable abilities to stay alive long enough to claim his prize. And what prizes they had been! 3 artifacts Murphy never would have seen in any other way, each proven with laboratory tests to be genuine, yet Methuselah never uttered a word about his sources. There were lots of issues that plagued Murphy about these mad whirlwind chases, but each time Murphy went public with the artifacts, no organization, government, or individual collector had come forward to claim they had been stolen. However, for Murphy at least, there remained the troubling religious aspect. Methuselah was clearly not a religious man, quite the opposite. Murphy had to admit that in addition to getting the artifacts, part of what drove him was the chance to defy Methuselah's nasty verbal insults about Murphy's faith. Which was hardly a justification for risking his life, Murphy realized. A risk not merely to himself, but to his wife, Laura. So far, his passion for the quest for artifacts had been a real test of Laura's passion for Murphy. It certainly helped his cause that she held a degree in...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?